What's up, nerds? It looks like it's time for another episode of Versus. Once again, I'm Jordan, aka JoRadical, aka Joe Papa Grande, and I'm going to be your host for this video. In this series, I present two different characters from any fictional universe, give you a little information on each, and then create some kind of battle scenario to see who would win. I should stress, however, that I am by no means a comic expert, but I do like comics a lot, and that's basically the same thing, right? Let's get started. Today's matchup is Black Panther versus Luke Cage. This matchup is thanks to a suggestion on the last video by GMB19. This took quite a bit of research, since I'm not nearly as familiar with these characters as I am with others. Their recent appearances in the MCU, though, make them great candidates for a battle. Let's start with Black Panther. Long ago, a huge meteorite made of vibranium crash-landed in the nation of Wakanda. The king of Wakanda, Black Panther Bashanga, used the mineral to support and grow the nation. Thousands of years later, under the rule of Black Panther T'Chaka, Wakanda's technological and economic achievements excelled far beyond those of the rest of the world. T'Chaka fathered a son, known as Prince T'Challa, the Black Panther we know. Eventually, a Dutch scientist known as Ulysses Claw made his way into Wakanda and created a sound-based weapon that he used to kill T'Chaka. Prince T'Challa, though only a child at the time, used the weapon on Claw, causing him to flee the country, expose Wakanda, and vow revenge on the child. T'Challa would later become king after defeating his uncle, King Sayan, in a ritual that allowed anyone of Wakandan royalty to take on the ruler in hand-to-hand combat. T'Challa succeeded and consumed the Wakandan heart-shaped herb, granting him superhuman abilities as well as making him the new Black Panther. So, what can T'Challa do? He's a brilliant tactician, strategist, scientist, tracker, and he's a master of all forms of unarmed combat, which he actually favors over armed combat. His fighting style incorporates acrobatics and even aspects of animal mimicry. His senses and physical attributes have also been enhanced to superhuman levels, thanks to the heart-shaped herb. And don't even get me started about this dude's suit. T'Challa's vibranium weave uniform makes him bulletproof, and his gloves contain energy daggers as well as anti-metal claws that dissolve other metals on contact. His boots also contain thick vibranium soles that allow him to run up the sides of buildings, land silently and without harm from a height of 50 feet, and even walk on water. Black Jesus is real! I'm actually finding this all out right now, and I'm incredibly surprised that this hero has not been seen more in media. Man, we must really love our whiteys. Wow, I am really thirsty right now. Let me get a little sip. Dr. Thunder. Who's next again? Oh, yeah, right. Carl Lucas was raised in the slums of Harlem, running in a gang called the Rivals with his friend Willis Stryker. After going through the juvenile system and realizing the pain he was causing his family, Carl Lucas changed his ways and joined the NYPD. Meanwhile, Willis Stryker was rising through the ranks of crime and managed to piss off a New York crime syndicate known as Amagia, and they ordered a hit out on him. Carl managed to save his friend, but Stryker's girlfriend began to distance herself out of fear. She eventually broke up with him and found comfort in Carl. Stryker blamed Lucas for the breakup and planted drugs in his apartment as revenge. The cops were tipped off and Lucas was wrongfully convicted. While in prison, Carl took part in a lot of brawls and prison escape attempts, even becoming the victim of a sadistic guard known as Rackham. Later on, Dr. Bernstein, a research scientist, recruited Lucas as a volunteer for an experimental cell regeneration program. When the doctor left Lucas unattended, Rackham attempted to use the experiment to kill Lucas. Instead, this accelerated the effects, granting Lucas superhuman abilities. He used these powers to escape the prison and return to New York, taking on the name Luke Cage and launching a career as a hero for hire. The experiment done on Lucas granted him superhuman strength, allowing him to lift approximately 25 tons and even punch through 4-inch thick steel. He also became incredibly durable, gaining skin as hard as steel and super dense flesh and bones. Although he may seem completely indestructible, he can be hurt by high-powered lasers, incredibly sharp metals, and incredible force. Basically, you just have to get through his skin. Cage is a self-taught hand-to-hand combatant with years of street fighting experience and is also a superb athlete, despite his notable weight and height. Now, that was a lot more information than last time, but I really wanted to flesh this one out. I didn't know much going into this, so it only feels right to present my research. Now that you have all that information, though, I think it's time for the battle. In New York City, hero for hire Luke Cage has been given a large sum of money to complete a job for a mysterious figure. Unbeknown to him, the figure was secretly Big Papa Joe, God Emperor of the Multiverse. Jo has asked Luke to retrieve a secret stash of vibranium, requiring him to travel all the way to the nation of Wakanda. Meanwhile, in Wakanda, T'Challa has been sent word that Luke Cage is traveling to his country to challenge the Black Panther's leadership. He will not stand for this and sets out immediately to take on the hero for hire. When Cage finally arrives in Wakanda, he barely has enough time to begin his mission before the Black Panther pounces on him. Luke is overpowered, his opponent moving too fast for him to react. T'Challa strikes Luke, only to find that he's a lot tougher than he looks, which is saying something. This shock allows Luke to regain his footing, and uses his strength to launch T'Challa towards a nearby tree. T'Challa uses his acrobatic skill to regain his balance and immediately come to strike again. His superhuman fists impact Luke's incredibly durable body, but it's still not enough, and he brings out the vibranium claws in his glove. Luke does not expect this, and T'Challa is able to attack again, only to find out that the claws of the Black Panther can cut into just about anything. Luke is incredibly surprised, which allows T'Challa to attack again and again. Luke is floored and knocked out cold. Black Jesus wins! Black Panther wins. Let's be realistic. You didn't really think Cage had a chance. Sure, he's incredibly strong, but T'Challa is one of the smartest characters in the Marvel Universe, and I think brains beat brawn just about any day. Not to mention his superhuman strength, agility, and senses, as well as the benefits in that suit. A trained warrior king versus a tough-skinned street fighter. Let's be real. Okay, maybe it's not that simple. Without the suit, Luke probably could have done some serious damage, but I think the chances of that are pretty slim. Once again, I'd like to thank BMP19, as well as everyone else who commented on the last video. Please keep those comments coming, and if you have any suggestions for the next Versus video, or maybe just a general one, make sure you let us know. Please like this video and check out the last one I did, Nightwing vs Daredevil. Oh, and give my boy Albright some love. He makes tons of great videos on this channel, and you should check them all out. Until next time though, I'm Jordan, and this was Versus.